actually comes to mind. Number one, the man had money.
Yes, he did.
But nobody had access to his money.
Yeah.
Number two, let's even assume the man has been in coma for like 6 months. We're supposed to say it's time to pull the plugs. So 2 things come to mind: a financial power of attorney and a medical power of attorney. So the financial part is, if you had given the authorities to someone, when they need money, those people will go to the bank will do their due diligence on the documents, and they will honor whatever requests. The bank can just also say, as an extra due diligence, maybe we'll transfer directly to the hospital just so that we're a bit secure. And then on the medical part, would it have been the intention of the man to be in coma for 6 months, 1 year? Just being there, he's not alive, he's not dead, he's just hanging in between. He could have also donated the power to say, if at any point in time, whether a surgery needs to be done, there's an emergency.
This question that you are asking, you are asking it because you are not thinking like an African person.
Okay. An African man doesn't want to go, regardless.
when there are prayer warriors, they'll keep saying, as long as the person, they can still feel like the person can come back to life. You cannot put. This is not South Africa where the former president was in coma and they were wondering. This is not also Argentina where that popular footballer, they were wondering whether they should put the plug or not. No. Or in Brazil, that same popular footballer. This is Africa. So they will wait, they will pray, they will fast. We will pray.
Another thing is that money is not growing under your pillow. So with the proper trust, with an education trust, you have the money is invested, you are generating something. So it's not just what you put into it, but it also grows. And also it shouldn't also be restricted to money. You could have assets, properties, income generating assets, whereby rental income comes. We even have people that would say, okay, you know what, I have these properties. When my first child goes to the university, sell one, because the cost of that one would cover through, so that not just the funding now, not just the finance, the cash, but assets also, shares, properties could also be used to secure.
But I like to say that because it's education trust, and you set it up with an institution, it's important that our listeners, viewers, anyone watching this podcast or listening to it, know that because it's education trust, you can only use it for education. You can't wake up one morning and say they are buying a Ashwebi in my office. Say,
release the money.
Give me 5,000 naira out of that education trust account. Let's go.
Okay, so just to add to what Funky Malam and Sage has said, we have to take it from 2 perspectives.
Okay.
We are talking about Islamic estate planning. What is Islam on its own? Islam is a complete way of life.
So of course, Al-Wasiyah falls in. We have Al-Wasiyah, we have WAF, which is the Islamic foundation or charity. We also have the Hibba, a form of gift. Which you can, just like Cappone has said, and also Sagi. So during the lifetime of one as a Muslim, in as much as Islam has laid down principles on how you distribute your asset, it also gives one that avenue to be able to utilize 1/3 on how you wish to do so by yourself. Now, you are doing that without also depriving your dependent or beneficiaries of their real inheritance rights based on what you have acquired during your lifetime.
Is there any difference with a conventional will? If there are, let's know. Or what similarities do we find? So qualification, who is qualified, and then if there are similarities or non-similarities.
Thank you, Saro. So I think there are a lot of similarities between our Wasiyah and the conventional will. And of course, you start by talking about the mental capacity of whoever is making it. That has to be clear. There have to be assets that we are talking about. That is clear.
Absolutely. But then the assets don't have to be huge or significant.
It doesn't have to, but they are assets, right?
Asset.
Then, of course, before, like Mutiat said, there's a third thing. Of course, the 2/3 has to be clear. It's the remaining 1/3 that we are now speaking to. And one thing we should also have in mind is that I think the rationale from an Islamic point of view can be 2. Of course, There is one about
What are the principles that guide WACF?
Okay, so there are a couple of principles. Like Sage has said, it is more like a trust. So you have the basic principles of a trust.
Is it this living trust that we used to preach?
The same trust.
Okay.
Trust relationship between two persons.
Oh.
The only difference here is that you have a Muslim setting it up, and then we are infusing the conventional principle that aligns with Islam.
Okay.
And then now adding the Islamic principle to it.
And all that. I'm talking about our culture, whatever, because this is our firstborn, his brother. And then this is brother's wife. Meanwhile, she's the one. And he, maybe for pride or whatever, has never disclosed that. So when things happen, if for some reason brother dies, they're going to come for her.
Absolutely.
Unless she has everything documented, and I don't know how they set up.
Yeah.
Then, you asked the question that should you disclose to your husband? Depending on the setting, I would. Why are you married if you guys can't talk? But then again, maybe that's easy for me to say because of my setting. You don't know whether the man is a gambler, is a drunk. You really don't know so many things that maybe you need to hold back. But whatever you do, however you handle your family dynamics, a woman must have a structure.
I think conversations with the trust team or with FBNQuest Trustees allows you to put a plan that you can structure exactly how you want things to play out. You can even have a plan that speaks to a future wedding you might not attend.
Sure.
Correct. Yeah.
And you already have assets put aside in that manner.
Assume that they brought up their children very well. If we were to ask you, speak to women now, and what would be the catch for them, really, apart from the surprises that women would then need to actively and consciously sit down with a professional like us and start to put these plans in place?
You say apart from the surprises, what we're talking about are the surprises.
Okay.
Some of the surprises are that the children that you think you know, money brings out the good, bad, and ugly. And then you're not even there, so you can't even solve the problem. Your children now come up with some traits that you didn't even know, it's latent.
Oh, yeah.
So you have children, I've seen instances where, and as you've rightly said, children born same mother, same father. And then they're fighting over, really, really fighting over. So I think that women, what we need to do is be very specific and document everything. Even if, because now there's some handbags that cost the price of houses.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
So if you know what you've got, you know what you've bought, don't wait and tell your husband that a $10,000 handbag is only 100 naira. The surprise will be yours.
I would say women should be a little more intentional. Like Mutiat said, women, we don't consider those things as assets, but like a woman in the Canary market that you mentioned now, she can be bringing her daughter to the market with her, and she just subconsciously thinks that if she passes today, her daughter should be able to take over from her business. But it's different you knowing that your daughter can and actually stating it in blue and black that your daughter should take over the business.
So you've gone, Rotimi brought a twist in there. Let's go back to Rotimi's twist. He said if a man passes on, how come the in-laws come in and not the wife? Please.
Yeah, because
why is it not expected that automatically the woman should take over?
So
why,
in this business,
why
Ayo,
do we allow the in-laws?
Ayo, in this business, we've realized and we've seen that the first thing that happens is they tell you that before
He became your
he
husband.
became your husband.
Was our brother and
first
son.
our brother and son.
But before I became someone's wife, I was first somebody's
daughter.
sister,
you will
daughter.
inherit from that one that you were first from.
Rotimi, are you traditional?
So, in being in this business for more than 15 years, and in FBNQuest Trustees being in this business for more than 47 years, there are experiences, there are stories.
Yeah.
I'll give you an example, and we laugh about it. A woman passed on has 2 professor children. First is female, the second one is a man. And the female says to the man that you go and take the house, just saying in Mushin, I'll take the one in Banana Island because she's first female. And the guy says, no, African tradition. As a man, I should be the one to inherit. And that's because the mother did not have a plan in place, which goes back to the fact that I believe that women should have a proper plan in place. It is then important that we first understand who owns these assets.
I'll ask you this question because you're a lawyer and you're an asset manager. What happens, or what do you think people should have at the back of their mind when, as an African man or woman, I decide to have a will, and then it's time for my assets to be shared in accordance with my will, and then my beneficiaries tell me that there's a clash? How best do you think that, to an extent, even though Rotimi has spoken about trust, how best do you think that we can go about it to ensure that this clash doesn't now defeat our instructions as we've stated?
I believe your question is which one supersedes when you have a will versus your custom or your tradition.
Yes.
I believe your will would actually supersede once you have, and it also depends on which one governs, your day-to-day activities. For example, if one is married under the Act, if you're married in a legal registry or church, which is registered under the Marriage Act, then I believe once you have a will, the will would supersede. But sometimes you also need to communicate. In the beginning I mentioned that we're all girls, so if if my father isn't married under the Act and he doesn't have a will, for example, at some point it would be the laws that govern, or the tradition that govern where I'm from, that would supersede. But it really depends on what governs, what you believe in. You believe in the Marriage Act, and you believe that the will should supersede whatever tradition that you have, then I think the will will supersede.
Indeed. As the English saying goes, the intention and the expression of an intention are 2 different things. And so even when you have a will, to make the world around you know that this is the law or this is the structure you plan to follow, you'd have to communicate that with you.
Until we meet again next time on another episode of The Legacy Room, let's say our traditional advice. Bye.